off adventuring we go. Just decided to record a little bit of a video for, folks to see what I'm up to today. Don't really have an agenda. It's Brycely week, which basically means Father's Day, summer solstice, my birthday, all wrapped up into one week. Typically, this is a week that the family and I all like to get out and have a little bit of fun. This week, unfortunately, the girls are both working, which leaves me all on my own. Headed up SR20, State Route 20, that's North Cascades Scenic Byway. Heads out over the top of the mountains, past Ross Lake, Diablo Lake, all of that. We're not actually going to go that far today. Decided that what I need to do is start exploring in between the regions that I normally explore. So there's a whole bunch of highways, freeways that run up and over the Cascades or connect together as they cross the Cascades. We've explored the hell out of all of these over the last 20 years. What I've never really done is start linking them all together. So I spent some time with some Forest Service maps, and today's adventure. First off, I'm just heading up around Baker Lake. I'm going to make a camp up in there somewhere tonight, just to kind of kick back, relax, charge the batteries. And then tomorrow morning, we are going to start meandering our way up and over the mountains and see if we can't pick out a route that is between State Route 20 and the next major road system over, which is the Mount Loop Highway, which obviously we spend a lot of time on. Welcome to the Skagit Valley. It's a pretty little place to live, but there is nothing out here to make money doing unless you ranch or farm or something along those lines. It is pretty, though. We still got a ways to go before we really get into the true forests. And in classic, well, I should say modern, Washington fashion, there is nowhere to camp. Everywhere I look, it is full. But as I've driven, I have gotten up into some beautiful country. We are sitting at roughly 4,700 feet right here. As I spin around and take in the panorama, you can just see all sorts of beautiful greenery. But then we start getting over there. Behind those clouds, I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up, are the big mountains. So Baker's poking its shoulder out, but that's about all I can see so far. You can see it right there in the center. He's just sort of peeking himself out, breaking through the clouds. Wish I could show you what's down in the bottom of there, but there's a hill in the way. Right on the other side of that hill is Baker Lake, which looks beautiful from up here. But anyway, gonna press on, just giving you a quick little view, see if I can't find myself a campsite up here, because I don't want to go back down this road quite yet. Well, driving, and there ain't much. And I start really pushing up into my high country, some of my little, shall we call them my secret spots that I don't tell everybody about. Sorry, I'm trying to find decent lighting so you can actually see my face. It's hard this time of evening. Anyway, all of those spots are full. Everything is full, and I don't get it. It's Tuesday afternoon, but such is sort of Western Washington, like I've said. I did want to take just a couple minutes to show you guys where I ended up. I haven't decided if I'm going to spend the night here or not. It's almost 6 o'clock, so I've only got a couple hours of daylight left, maybe 3 max, being that we're close to the solstice. This spot though, like, just, it appeals to me. It's pretty. Alright, so here it is. Bright sunshine. See why I couldn't see? Anyway, we got a nice hillside over there. And if you look right over there, peeking through the trees, again, we've got Mount Baker. So probably you'll remember a little bit earlier, we're way up high looking over at it. Now we're back down in the bottom. But this is just pretty. Don't you agree? Don't know if it's bedtime here, but it's definitely coffee time. Let's take a little walk. Excuse the jitteriness. Out walking around a little bit. Looks like we've got some deer that came through here. Well, it rained last night, so they had to have come through today. Be that fresh looking still. Yeah, there's another one. Just walking on down the road. See what else there is to see off in these forests. I often do this when I get into an area I'm not super familiar with. You walk the roadways, you kind of scan along the edge. It's actually something that my dad taught me to do. And the whole point is literally to figure out who you're sharing this space with. Most animals, especially in denser, wetter forests where they have good food sources, good water sources, they don't actually inhabit that large of a space. They'll typically take up less than 1 to 2 square miles of woodlands. And so you might have, just in the vicinity of your campsite, within a few acres, a bear, a couple of deer, all sorts of small game, possibly even a little pack of coyotes living. And you always want to know. You know, right now we're still at fairly good elevation. We're right on the edge of the Diop-Spud Wilderness area, which means this area doesn't get a lot of traffic. This is literally the only way in here is this road. And so once you get back in, who knows what's been out. But I mean, you can see there's little trails through the brush that come out to the road. Oh, look, we got some cute little critters. And they got little paws. See the little toenails right there? It's an older track. It's been rained on. But you can see, here's another one. You can see the indentation of the bottom. You can see toe, 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 and a little toe, and I bet you there's another one right there. On this one, you can actually see claw marks where they dug in. My bet, that one was probably a bobcat. That one was either a baby or, who knows, some other small game. It's too hard to tell. Looks like that's where a deer went off into the woods, was right there. See his track turns? You can see where the brush has been knocked down through there. He went through that little tunnel right down there and down that draw. Wouldn't even surprise me if he had ran up the road ahead of me when I was coming in originally. I haven't seen another car on this road, so I think I'm the only one up here because I went all the way to the back. Looks like we got a storm rolling in. Dark skies. Man, it's pretty. I really wonder what's back out in there. I'd really kind of like to go see, but at the same time, not really. I mean, most of that brush is taller than I am. I'd get stomping around out in there and I can't even see what lives out there. Well, we got deer, we got little cats, which I don't care about because we have them everywhere you go, including in the city. We got a bear living out in there. Don't know if this is the place for tonight. I think I'll sip on my coffee, finish my cigarette, contemplate that. Oh, well now, what pray tell left that big old pile of turd? We has a bear. Well, Mama Bear says that we are not camping here tonight, so off we go. I love the randomness. Just driving along, you look over and you see something like that. It's pretty, just a little bog in the middle of the forest. Yeah, I just love driving. So, what's the first thing you do when you arrive at a place you decided to camp? And no, it's not a good spot, but it is a kind of a shooting area, old turnaround at a closed road. It's a big open space, though. And considering I've seen a bit of bear activity, I like that. It gives me a defensive perimeter, something I can see from a ways back. And it's just open, allows the wind to blow through, gets rid of the mosquitoes. But I was going to show you what's involved in Bryce setting up his mobile camp. What happens when I'm all alone, and how does this work? It's not nearly as complicated as it often is. But first priority is... I think you're just going to have to deal with a little bit crooked, but should give you perspective. Let's see what it takes for me to assemble my camp. The blankets to catch any of the mosquitoes that may come my way. And the chairs are actually stored down the sides, but you're sitting in my chair right now. So that's it. There's my camp. So we were showing you earlier as we set up. This is the Jeep from the inside. The blanket's just there to block the mosquitoes that'll be thrown over me in the end of the night. Along the sides here, and this is true of both sides actually, we have cargo netting and stuff. The cargo netting holds 2 blankets on each side and my clothes bag on this side. On that side, I save the space for a cooler. Works out really well. The bed consists of 2 air mattresses, blankets. That blanket's just to wrap it all up in, my sleeping bag, pillows. It's all ready to go. Over there's our pantry. We got water, dry stock, cold stock, coats, rain gear, everything else. That big green pack with the yellow strap up there, that is my deep mountain pack. It's packed to be able to make me last like 3-4 days probably. Food would be getting scarce, so let's call it a 3-day pack. That is what we call the mountain box. The mountain box we have actually carried around for 20 years. Yes, that box is 20 years old, and so is everything inside of it. In fact, that camp stove is the same camp stove that I used to go camping with when I was in high school. Gear lasts forever if you take care of it. Camp box is just well tuned. It has everything you need to survive indefinitely. Think of your entire kitchen and, junk drawer. It's that box. That's my closet. That's all my extra stuff that I can carry. Pantry, bed. You saw the kitchen section. First aid's right here. Maps are right here. Over behind that seat, we have a machete for quick access for chopping stuff. There's an axe and a fire extinguisher when you tip the seat forward. That little red and black thing actually tips back and becomes a table that can hold stuff like, say a laptop. It all works out pretty good. Next thing I need to do is mount some lights up there so that I've got some good nighttime lighting. I've got one back there. I don't know if you can see it, but That lights up everything, and it actually pops off and is magnetic or Velcro, so I can stick it on the tailgate to light up the kitchen too. That's pretty much that. But here's this bed platform thing. So there's a toolbox in the back, and then there's this platform which is hinged. It basically flips down and sits there on the top of the seats once they're down and creates an even platform that is 5 foot 6 inches in length. Yes, that's too short for me. That's why we got that little thing. This section, when the seat's tilted forward, flips up, gives me that extra, 5 inches or so, so I actually fit in here properly. And it makes a relatively cozy tent. I put the mosquito netting on that window, allows some cross ventilation, keeps it from getting humid in there. I leave that window open so I can see across, and I leave this, or not open, but uncovered, closed, so I can see across. And this one, you know, I've got the controls right there by my head, so I can roll it down to have a cigarette if I feel like it. iPad or tablet will hang really well right here, hence why you see all these little ties and stuff. They're for putting clips on. These, I actually just spin them around and put the tablet in that one and that one, and it just holds it. Works beautifully. That is the truck. So normally what's under there, if it was just in travel mode, it would be bedding. If it's in sleeping in it mode, the bedding goes up there, and an extra pair of boots goes under there, the gun box goes under there, and RC accessories go under there. Right now, I've got some mixed weather, so there's 2 tarps and a bunch of cords under there to hold it down too. It goes the full length of the truck, all the way over to the other door. So, I mean, lots of space. Forgot to mention, like, garbage, you know, part of your whole kitchen setup. We got the little table that flips down off the tailgate. Holds my camp stove. Bungee cord works just perfectly to support that camp stove. A little extra room. But the garbage was kind of a cool thing. Never had a tire on the back. Wish I always had. But think of all the space that's inside of there. And it can't go anywhere because we have this ring in here that's the 3rd brake light. And so it holds everything back. I can fill up that garbage bag, probably holds as much as your household garbage can, and just put it all in the spare tire and carry it around that way. Works out so awesome. Soup. That's what's for dinner. Remember how I was saying there's bobcats like absolutely everywhere? Don't know if you can see him, but he's standing right in the middle of the road up there, looking at me. Right there above my finger. I'm gonna shut the video down, take a quick picture or two, and then see if we can sneak up on him a little. He's still watching us. He can hear us, so I'm not gonna bother being too quiet. He's just not too afraid yet. It's actually a fairly large bobcat. Just for the record, even though it's just a small little bobcat, my gun is in my hand. Well, good morning world. It is very wet. It started raining off and on probably about 1:30 last night. Rained really heavy for a while. Wish I had remembered to roll up my windows a little quicker, but it's alright. Not much got wet, just the little bit of water on the floorboards, which will go away shortly. It's just a little bit crappy though. I love the rain. Makes it all pretty and green, but when you're dry and warm, it's really hard to go out where it's cold and wet. So, I think the agenda for today, Wednesday morning, is to probably roll on down the hill a ways, see if I can't find myself a good sheltered alcove. Could be under the trees, could be an actual shelter, I really don't give a damn. But I need coffee. I must have my morning coffee, brush my teeth, all that. Doesn't that look fun and wet? Could be a lot worse, right? So, you know, you think of Indian reservations, you think of like the Blackfoot, all the ones in Oklahoma, hell, even the Dakotas. And they're always these kind of nasty places, right? Welcome to the Suiattle Reservation. It's kind of nice. Decided to go explore back in here, kind of off the edge of the reservation. This little road. It's been going on for a while. About 7 miles, 6 miles in on it. I know I just passed a sign, but I didn't catch what it said. It's kind of pretty. I'm looking to see if there is access to get down onto the Suiattle River. I have never fished that river, and it looked like it might be a fishable spot. I'm trying to kind of keep my eyes open too as I wander, because I know there's a designated herd of elk that wander around up here. I've seen numerous signs that are like elk crossing next 6 miles, but I ain't seen no elk. I was really kind of hoping. Seen 2 deer this morning. I think that's it, 2 deer. Right, we have fresh coffee. We're ready to hit the road. Man, this river right here has got a lot of runoff coming through it, and it is moving crazy, crazy, crazy fast. Guess we won't be fishing. We also got more rain coming, but, you know, it is what it is. So, I'm going to keep wandering on. This has been kind of interesting. You know, I've taken a few of these little side roads. I recorded some. We'll see how much makes it to the end video. But I also found a Suiattle burial ground. I really want to go look at it. I really want to go check it out. There's a sign like right off the main road. It doesn't say you can't go in, but it's almost like it's there to say, hey, what the hell do you think you're doing here? Here's where we left off, says crossing the stream. See why I decided not to drive the road all the way down here. Damn, mosquitoes are everywhere. Out of respect, as I wandered through there, I didn't really film. I mean, this is a burial ground, a place where ancestors have gone. What's interesting is there's markers out there from the early 1900s, like 1905's the earliest death date that I found. And yet that one in the back corner with the flowers on that cross back there is from less than a year ago. Some of these are recent, some of them are old. This tribe has gotten really, really small over the years, apparently. May they find rest here, Bryce in the forests. Few intriguing little pieces. Many of the tribes have fully integrated, and when you look out through there, you can see there's crosses and stuff. There's obviously people who have converted, and yet while walking around, there's shamanistic spell work on some of these graves. There's Tootsie bags hanging around. There's all sorts of little pieces that show that the old traditions are still alive. They're just buried and hidden. Anyway,
Oh, look at the carving and stuff. Amazing. Very cool. I wonder what this represents. So many deer this trip. Well, hello again. It's been a while since we talked, but here we are on the South Fork of the Sauk River. Beautiful little spot. It's not a very big campsite. It's not family friendly, but it's definitely Bryce-ly friendly. Might stay here tonight. This river behind me has all sorts of pockets. It's running really high right now, but, you know, it could still work. So like I said, very small little campsite. You basically got room for a fire pit, and there's a tent site back behind that tree. And then we've got the river down here. Pretty stuff, huh? Kind of hop back onto some rocks. I'm not going to show you the path I got out here, but I'll show you where I'm at. You can see all these fun little pockets. They're full of little trout and occasionally a big trout. The big ones like to be out in the big water, but over here in this water you'll oftentimes just catch a little guy 2 to 6, maybe even 8 inches every time you cast. And in another month or so, I would be able to go over onto that rock, up onto there, over to there, or back over into there. Right now, this is as far as I can really get. In that time, we're making some coffee and some dinner down here. Totally. Well, good Thursday morning. It is cold. You can't tell. Like, how many layers have I got on here? Oh, many, many, many. It is a cold morning. I don't really know why. It just was wet night. Woke up. It's probably 50 degrees, if even that. Maybe 45, 50 is probably accurate. Kind of chilly. Just hovering out here behind the Jeep by the kitchen. You probably noticed the yellow behind me. I put up my little redneck version of an awning last night, so I had a dry spot to read and to cook and make coffee and all that. Paying off this morning, though, because, you know, it's a good, dry, warm spot to eat. Camp's pretty much broke down, basically meaning I rolled up my bedroll and put my dirty clothes in the dirty clothes bag. I throw the stove in the box and we're good to travel. Haven't quite decided what I'm doing, though. Technically on PTO, meaning I'm on vacation, getting paid for it, but most of my job is based on phone calls. Every other week we have this national call where I get to sit and chat with all the other development leads across the country and kind of just check in on how we're doing and get support if we need it, or learn new things, or whatever the hell the case might be. That call is in an hour and a half. I don't have reception. Huh. This trip started out with this idea of I'm supposed to be camping all week. Nobody wants to go with me. Well, they can't. They gotta work. And so I decided I was going to do it on 1 tank of gas. I failed. I might have used a credit card to top my tank off in Darrington, but, you know, it was 25 bucks, whatever. We'll see what happens. Like, I'm kind of thinking about spending another night. I'm also kind of thinking about going home. Right now, I'm thinking I should camp somewhere with cell reception. I think this is a good oatmeal. Big old fruit chunks in it. Kind of awesome. Anyway, good morning. Coffee's almost done. I'll put shit away. Probably talk to you again here in a bit. Figures that the sun decides to come out after I leave camp, huh? Yeah, the reality is I don't think it's going to last long. It's kind of weird because it's probably nice and sunny back in town. The clouds just get trapped up in here and they just continue to dump moisture. Anyway, a little bit of B-roll. Well, I continued to be pretty wet and muddy. Explored a few more side roads, played around a little bit. I didn't film simply because, well, I apparently didn't plug my phone in last night despite thinking I had. So we're right now back in the city and rolling towards probably the nearest car wash. It's sad, like with these 3312s on here. I don't even have to go mudding. If I just simply roll down a muddy road, it's like my entire truck gets bathed in sludge and slime. So I'm gonna go wash it off. I'll show you the prettiness before I do. And then we should be home in about a half an hour. She got a little bit dirty. Not too bad, just a little bit.